discussing organic chemical technology course module 6, and I have taken 4 lectures on this, and already in the last lecture you have discussed about the thermal cracking processes. So today I will be discussing about the catalytic cracking, and in catalytic cracking we will be discussing about the fluid catalytic cracking, hydrocracking, advances which has been taken place in case of the FCC, and coverage. This is the actually the typical, you can see the fluid catalytic cracking unit of the Panipat refinery. The coverage of the lecture, that is in 2 parts. One is the fluid catalytic cracking process, where the brief introduction about the FCC, how the evolution of the fluid catalytic cracking from fixed bed to FCC that has taken place, feedstock for the FCC, major landmarks in the history of the FCC, main reactions in the FCC, process steps, typical operating parameter, FCC catalyst, because there has been continuous development in case of the FCC catalyst. From the now the FCC is running from the gasoline to propylene mode. So, what are the advancement that has taken place in the FCC catalyst, that will be discussing. Advanced catalytic cracking process, which is just to basic objective had been to increase the production of the propylene. Operational features of the INMAX technology that has been developed by IOC, Indian Oil Corporation, and the hydrocracking will be discussing about the introduction of the hydrocracking, comparison of the catalytic cracking and the hydrocracking. Why the hydrocracking we are doing? Because earlier it was the fluid catalytic cracking, and from the fluid catalytic again the hydrocracking. In many of the refineries now they are having both the FCC and the hydrocracking. Then the hydrocracking, because in case of the hydrocracking both the pre-treat and the cracking reaction that is taking place. So, the hydrotreating catalyst and the hydrocracking catalyst, single stage and 2 stage process are there in case of the hydrocracking. So, that will be discussing in the next few slides. Let us discuss about the history of the catalytic cracking. Catalytic cracking process was developed in 1920 by Eugen Henry for upgradation of the residue, was commercialized later in 1930, and this was the fixed bed technology, that was the cyclic fixed bed configuration, that was the original process of the catalytic cracking. Now, with the evolution of the coming of the development in case of the fertilization technology, now most of the units they are having the fluid bed catalytic cracking. There has been continuous upgradation in the catalytic cracking processes from its incept of the fixed bed technology to later fluid bed catalytic cracking. Fluid catalytic cracking is now major secondary conversion process in petroleum refinery since 1942. That was the time when the UOP introduced that fluid catalytic cracking process. Global demand, why the catalytic cracking? Global demand for clean fuels has driven the need for increased diesel yield, which has promoted an increase in the implementation of new hydrocrackers. That is about the why the hydrocrackers. Design of new hydrocracking units are challenged by the difficult feedstock from heavy sour crudes and residue upgrading units. Now, let us come to the fluid catalytic cracking, then I will be discussing about the hydrocracking. Fluid catalytic cracking is now major secondary conversion process in the refinery since 1942. There are more than 400 FCC units in world. So, now you cannot imagine a refinery without FCC. The process provides around 50% of all transportation fuel and 35% of the total gasoline pool, because the cracked gasoline which you are getting from the FCC, that is going to the gasoline pool, that is in the form of the reformative gas. FCC is the multi-component catalyst system with circulating fluid bed reactor system with the reactor regenerator system configuration, because here in case of the FCC we are having the reactor and regenerator, both this are there. Introduction of large number of the additives for boosting of the gasoline octane yield of the light naphtha, SOX control, nickel and vanadium passivation, gasoline to propylene mode operation, because now the many of the about around 30% of the propylene that is coming from the FCC. So, many of the refinery they are operating FCC in the propylene mode, not the gasoline mode. Although FCC units are major conversion process in refining, however, desired product slate is shifting in increasing towards light olefin production, especially the propylene. Conventional FCC units typically produce about 3 to 6% propylene, but FCC propylene accounts for almost 30% of the global propylene now. So, the shift in the technology of the shift in the catalyst, which has resulted in the increased propylene. Similarly, C4, C5 gases that can be recovered from the FCC gases, and that is now providing a very valuable product, and one of the major product from the FCC, that is MTB and TEAM, that is the oxygenate that we are producing. Introduction of zeolite catalyst during 1960, which has resulted in lower residence time. Introduction of ultra stable Y zeolite in mid 60s. Switch over from fixed bait cracking to the riser cracking technology. Feedstock for the FCC, because what is happening, as we discussed during the crude oil distillation, we are getting the residue from atmospheric column, then that residue that is going to the vacuum column, and where we are separating the light vacuum in the form of the light vacuum gas oil and the heavy vacuum gas oil. So, these are the some of the actually feedstock for the FCC. Apart from that, just like the vacuum gas oil, hydrotreated VGO that you are getting there from the vacuum gas column, hydrocracker bottom, because now the many of the refineries, they are having the hydrocracker that is also producing heavy residue, coker gas oil, that is also from we are getting from the thermal cracking process, de-asphalted oil, reduced crude oil, and vacuum. That is the why reduce, that is the residue FCC. Now some of the units they are having the, they call it the residue FCC. So, typical feedstock consists of vacuum and atmospheric gas oil, but may include other heavy steam also, as I told you, that may be from the hydrocracker, that may be from the coker, and other units also, the heavy residue that will go to the either the catalytic cracking, means the FCC, or it may be the hydrocracker. Major contaminant in the feed includes carbon residue and the metals, while FCC process feed containing up to 4% condensation carbon. So, millisecond catalytic cracking process can process all kinds of the feed. That is the development in case of the FCC, where the residence time that has been decreased. Catalytic cracking cracks low value high molecular weight hydrocarbons to more value added products, low molecular weight hydrocarbons. So, product are gasoline, LPG, diesel, along with the very important petrochemical feedstock like petrochemical, C4 gases like isobutylene, isobutane, butane, and butene, because these are the some of the very important hydrocarbons we are getting from the C4 stream of the FCC, and some of the refineries apart from the propylene they are recovering. Isobutylene, that is converted to MTB in the process in some of the refinery, although there is ban on the MTB in many of the countries, but MTB and isobutane that can be used for the conversion to isobutylene or some other, similarly butane and butene also. A large number of the C4 gases that we are getting, and that processing of the C4 gases again we will be discussing while discussing the petrochemical part. Main reaction involved in the cracking. Cracking of the paraffins, naphthenes, and side chain of the aromatic, isomerization, dehydrogenation of naphthenes and olefins, hydrogen production with their cyclization and condensation of the olefins, alkylation and dealkylation. A series of reaction that is taking place. These are the some of the reaction that is taking place, major primary reaction in the catalytic cracking, the alkyl naphthene, paraffins, alkyl aromatics, the naphthene. So, these are the some of the products which are getting from there. So, the process steps, what are the process steps in case of the catalytic cracking? When I am talking about catalytic, means the FCC, that is the reaction, regeneration of the catalyst, and the fractionation of the product which we are getting from the FCC. So, these are the three major steps involved, and regeneration of catalyst that is very important part of the catalytic cracking process. Reaction. In the reaction, what is happening? Feedstock reacts with the catalyst and cracks into different hydrocarbon. Regeneration, catalyst is reactivated by burning of coke, because normally in all the cracking process, some formation of the coke because of the various reaction that is taking place, that takes place, and that coke has to be removed for longer life of the catalyst, to improve the performance of the catalyst, and so the continuous regeneration of the catalyst is there, and then it is recirculated in the reactor. Then the third part, after the reaction regeneration is complete, the product which you are getting from the catalytic cracking, that is going to the distillation column for separation of the various products like LPG and gasoline, light cycle oil, that is also actually another that is low value added product that we are getting, light cycle oil and heavy cycle oil, or withdrawn that from the side stream of the gun. I will discuss about the flow diagram there, it is clear. Here you see this is the typical fluid catalytic process where you are getting this is the fluid cracking reactor, and then the process here, boiler feed water, because here the catalyst, regenerated catalyst, that is going to the fluid catalytic cracking, and then this is the main fractionating column where the catalyst continues from the fluid catalytic cracking catalyst, that will go to regenerator, and because CO is also there, so that is going to the acid, that is going to the CO boiler, that is called the here in the power generation, and then after the fractionation what is happening, we are getting the FCC, that is a major source of LPG in the refinery. So, the overhead, from the overhead will be getting the, that will go to the stabilization column where the LPG is separated, and then you will be getting the gasoline. Heavy naphtha also, here also we are getting light cycle oil, fuel oil, the bottom product that with the heavy residue, that will getting the from the catalytic cracking. So, this is the process we are using in case of the fluid catalytic cracking process. This is the typical, actually the feed that is going to the reactor riser, what do we call it, the riser reactor. The reaction is taking place, and then these are the cyclones, they are there, and the cyclones, the catalyst is separated, and continuously the cyclone and this catalyst that is going to the for the catalyst regeneration, and after the regeneration the catalyst that is continuously, that is again it is joining this feed stream, and then it is going to the fluid FCC reactor. So, this is the actually the typical FCC reactor which we are using in the refinery. The reactor, let us now discuss in detail about the reactor, regenerator and the fractionator. The feed to the unit along with the recycle stream is preheated to temperature of about 365 degrees centigrade to 370 degrees centigrade, and enters the riser. As I told in the flow diagram, it is going to the riser where it comes in contact with the hot regenerated catalyst which we are getting from the generated from the catalyst regeneration section at which is at a temperature of 640 to 660 degrees centigrade. Finely divided catalyst is maintained in aerated or fluidized state by the oil vapors, and the fluid, they behave like just it is the fluid with very fine particles are there, and so they it is called the not the actually the fluid catalytic cracking. The catalyst section contains the reactor and regenerator, and catalyst recirculate between the two continuously, the continuous regeneration of the catalyst is there, and then it go to the reactor. Spent catalyst, that is regenerated to get rid of the coke that collects on the catalyst during the process, which I told you that during the crack is normally some carbon rejection is there, that carbon which is there, and that carbon that that has to be removed from the catalyst before it is being recycled to the system. So, spent catalyst flow through the catalyst stripper to the regenerator, where most of the coke deposit burn off at the bottom, where preheated air and spent catalyst are mixed. Fresh catalyst is added and worn out catalyst removed to optimize the cracking process. Cracked hydrocarbon steam is separated into various products, which I told you. LPG, one of the very important product of the FCC. Gasoline are removed as overhead as vapor. Unconverted product like light cycle oil and heavy cycle oil are withdrawn as side stream. Overhead product is sent to the stabilization section because it is containing the gasoline and the LPG, where stabilized gasoline is separated from light products from which LP is recovered. So, this is a typical operating parameter in case of the FCC. These are the products already have discussed, what are the products that you are getting. Light gases after the separation of the LPG, gasoline, high octane gasoline that you are getting, that will go to the gasoline pool, light cycle oil, heavy cycle oil, clarified cycle oil and coke as a byproduct. Then the product from the other product that already I discussed about the some of the problem in the utilization of the lot of the work that is going on, how to get the convert this light cycle oil to the more value added product. Light cycle oil blend component for diesel pool are the light fuel, because all the part of the light cycle oil, the heavy cycle oil that cannot go to the diesel pool. Heavy cycle oil optional, heavy cycle oil product for fuel are the cutter stock, clarified oil or decant oil, slurry for fuel oil, coke byproduct consumed in the regenerator to provide the reactor heat demand. This is a typical again the reactor part in case of the where the continuous regeneration of the catalyst, and then it is going to the combustion is taking place. First stage regenerator is there, and then here this is the your feed nozzles are there, and then the second stage regeneration is there. So, the two stage reactor that is there in case of the FCC catalyst. Now, let us come to the FCC catalyst. Major breakthrough in the catalytic cracking process was development of the zeolite catalyst, which demonstrated superior activity, gasoline selectivity and stability characteristic compared to the original amorphous silica alumina catalyst. This is the how the development from 1950 to 1990, the zeolite content that has increased. Similarly, the relative attrition index that has gone down, because the attrition index that is very important in case of the catalyst. Today, FC catalyst porous spray dried microspherical powder, particle size distribution of 20 to 120 micron and particle density 1400, supplied under various grades of the particle size and attrition resistance, because this is one of the very important property in case of the catalyst. Continuing improvement in the metal tolerance, coke selectivity, because what we are interested less coal formation, and the it should be have the more and more resistance towards the metal. So, new breed of the catalysts are high metal tolerance with high matrix catalyst having better accessibility, regenerability and stability. Option for clean fuel. For upgrading FCC products into acceptable blending component, following 3 steps are being used: severe hydroprocessing of the feed to the FCC, because there is removal of the your impurities which are present in the virgin feed that is going to the FCC, treating each of the product in hydrotreater, combination of the both steam, upstream and the downstream processing. As I told you, in some of the refinery, the heavy residue from the hydrocracker that is also being processed, so we call it the resid FCC, where the residue is also along. It is not the vacuum gas oil directly which you are getting. Some of the residue which are produced during the various cracking process, that is also going to the resid FCC. The RFC process uses similar reactor technology as the FCC. So far the technology, reactor regenerator system, this is the same, and but only here is it is targeted for residual feeds greater than 4 weight percent of the Knudsen carbon, more heavy residue that is being processed. A two-stage regenerator with catalyst cooling, which I told you the two-stage regenerator was there, is typically used to control the higher coke production and resulting, because here we are using more heavier residue. So, the coke formation is more in comparison to conventional FCC, where we are using the vacuum gas oil, light vacuum gas oil. Improvement in the riser termination devices have led to significant decreases in the post-riser residence time and post-riser cracking. The benefits of the shorter catalyst and oil contact time have been lower by dry gas yields, lower delta coke on catalyst and more selective cracking to gasoline and light olefins. This is the benefit of the shorter residence time that we are having. Due to improvement in the reactor design, there is lower regenerator temperature and higher catalyst recovery. Some of the various version of the FCC are there. This is one of the process, the Petro FCC process. The Petro FCC process targets the production of the petrochemical feedstock rather than the fuel. As I told you that in future refinery, that may be the petro refinery or the gasoline free refinery, means the gasoline, no gasoline from the, it will be completely, it may be on the propylene mode and very less amount of the gasoline. So, that was the gasoline free refinery, that is also now the word that has come. So, the here what is our main objective is to produce more petrochemical feedstock like propylene and the C4 gases that may be there. This new process, which utilizes uniquely designed FCC unit, can produce very high yields of the light olefins and aromatics than coupled with an aromatic complex. So, integration of the FCC with the petrochemical complex, that may be there. The catalyst section of the Petro FCCs processes use a high conversion short contact time reaction zone that operates at elevated reactor riser outlet temperature. This is the INMAX technology that has been developed by Indian Oil Corporation R&D division, and this unit already in the Guwahati refinery of the IOC, they have successfully that has been commissioned. The operational feature of the INMAX technology, very high catalyst to oil ratio, higher riser temperature, higher riser steam rate, relatively lower regeneration temperature. These are the some of the benefits in case of the INMAX technology. Propylene is higher octane number you are getting, and the multifunctional property catalyst that we are using, higher propylene selectivity, superior metal tolerance and lower coke formation is there. Maximizing the propylene output in the FCC, because as I told you, the future refinery that may be more through the propylene mode, because it is more value added product than the gasoline. So, now many of the refinery, because we see our requirement of the total propylene 30 to around 35% is from the FCC we are getting. So, new FCC processes are being operated to maximize the yield of the propylene due to growing demand of the propylene, because the propylene, huge amount of the propylene now you are using in the automobile industry, apart from the other uses, polypropylene fiber or in the and the replacement of the glasswares which were used, glass bottles that was being used in hospital. Significant scope exists in the refinery in Asia region to enhance the production of the propylene in this region. Maximizing propylene yield from FCC is typically accomplished by combining a low rare earth catalyst system with severe reaction condition, because normally when you are having the more severity means the more lighter products that will be getting. Some of the technology which are available are deep catalytic cracking based on the riser bed catalytic cracking, propylene max technology by ABS Limmer, Maxo fin process by Mobile, Kellogg, Superflex, advanced catalytic cracking by KBR. So these are the some of the technology that is available for maximizing the propylene from FCC. This is the actually the some of the technology and the propylene yield. Here you can say the conventional normally 5 to 6% propylene was there, and now with the coming of these technology or the operating the FCC in the propylene mode, the propylene percentage that is increased. So from the deep catalytic cracking 14 to 23, catalytic pyrolysis process 18 to 24, high severity FCC 70 to 25. In max technology, that is the indigenous technology we are having developed by IOC R&D division 70 to 25%, Maxofin 15 to 25, Petro FC 20 to 25, and select component cracking, that is 24%. This was about the FCC and why the importance of the FCC is there. Next development that has taken place in case of the catalytic cracking is the hydrocracking, because now as I told you earlier also, in most of the refinery now they are having both the FCC and the hydrocracking. So hydrocracking is one of the most versatile process for the conversion of the low quality feedstock into high quality products like gasoline, naphtha, kerosene and diesel, and hydrovacs, which can be used as a petrochemical feedstock. Because here what we are doing, the cracking is being done in presence of the hydrogen. So both the pretreatment and the cracking, both the process that is taking place and the quality of the, here what the advantage, because we are able to process more heavier residue. Its importance is growing as more as a refiner search for the low investment option for producing clean fuel, because they are going for the more heavier feedstock. New environmental legislation require increasing and expensive efforts to meet the stringent product quality demands, because here we are doing the hydrotreatment. The quality of the gasoline that is better, sulfur compounds are less. Hydrocracking can process wide variety of the feedstock, producing wide range of the products. Feed, it may be state-run gas oil which you are getting from the atmospheric residue, vacuum gas oil, cycle oils, coke gas oils, thermally cracked stocks, solvent aspirated residual oils, state-run naphtha, cracked naphtha. These may be the feed stock to the hydrocracker. Means the naphtha which is having the higher octane number. Sorry, not a higher octane number, but low octane number. Hydrocracking is used to reduce the tar formation and prevent the buildup of coke on the catalyst. Serves to convert the sulfur and nitrogen compounds present in the feedstock to hydrogen sulfide and ammonia when the feedstock has a high paraffinic content. So these are the some of the why we are going for the hydrocracking unit. These are the product, as you see the product are similar to the FCC, but only thing here we are not operating in the propylene mode. So in case of, but only advantage, other advantage is there, here we are processing in case of the hydrocracker more heavier feedstock. So the product which we are getting from hydrocracker, liquefied petroleum gas, motor gasoline, reformer feeds that may be in naphtha that may go to that catalytic reforming, aviation turbine fuel, diesel fuel, heating oil, solvent and thinners, lube oil and FCC feed. As I told you, the resid FCC where the hydrocracker bottom product that is going to the FCC. Hydrocracking is a two-stage process combining catalytic cracking and the hydrogenation, and that is also solving the purpose of treatment, pre-treatment, you can say the hydro treatment. Feedstocks are characterized usually by a high polycyclic aromatic content, high concentration of the two principal catalysts, poison sulfur and nitrogen compounds. These are the two major catalyst poisons that may be present in the feedstock. Let us compare now the catalytic cracking process with the hydrocracking. Catalytic cracking, the carbon rejection, hydrogen addition is there, riser regenerator configuration, downflow packed bed, because here it is the float bed, and in case of the hydrocracking it is the fixed bed reactor. The LPG gasoline, here it is more kerosene, diesel that you are getting, few aromatics, low sulfur and nitrogen content, products are rich in the unsaturated components in case of the catalytic cracking, means FCC. The hydrocracking process, let us now discuss about the hydrocracking process. We are having the single stage hydrocracking process. So, there what we are doing, treating and cracking in a single reactor. In case of the two stage, we are having the two reactor. Here all the reaction that is taking place in a single reactor, and work under high H2S NH3 ammonia partial pressure. Two stage hydrocracking, first hydro treated followed by hydrocracking, because in the first stage mostly the hydrotreating, some hydrocracking may take place, and then the here actually the low H2S and NH3 ammonia partial pressure. Recent development in the hydrocracking, there has been continuous development in the hydrocracking technology, both in the process and the catalyst. Some of the important development in the hydrocracking has been mild hydrocracking and rigid hydrocracking like FCC. Mild hydrocracking is characterized by relatively low conversion as compared to the conventional hydrocracking, which gives 70 to 100% conversion of heavy distillate at high pressure. Here in case of the mild, it is around 20 to 40%. Mild hydrocracking route produces low sulfur desired by the future diesel specification. Now, mild hydrocracking route produces 10 ppm and which is produced by hydrocracking under mild condition. MSC allows increasing diesel production through the Bigelow hydro conversion. Hydro treatment and the hydrocracking catalyst. Hydrocracking process involve two steps of the catalyst: hydro pre-treatment catalyst and hydrocracking catalyst. This is how we are achieving both the pre-treatment and the hydrocracking. The main objective of the pre-treat catalyst is to remove the organic nitrogen and other impurities like sulfur from the hydrocracker feed, allowing better performance of the second stage hydrocracking catalyst. That is what happening in case of the two stage hydrocracker. The initiation of the sequence of the hydrocracking reaction by saturation of the aromatic compound, pre-treat catalyst must have adequate activity to achieve above objective within the operating limits of the hydrogen partial pressure, temperature and the specificity. Hydrocracking catalyst. Hydrocracking catalyst is a bifunctional catalyst and has a cracking function and hydrogenation dehydrogenation function. The former is provided by an acidic support, whereas the latter is imparted by the metals. Acid side, the crystalline zeolite, amorphous silica, alumina, mixture of crystalline zeolite and amorphous oxide provide cracking activity. Metals, noble metals, palladium, platinum, or the non-noble metal, molybdenum and other metals, cobalt, nickel provide the hydrogenation, dehydrogenation activity. These metals catalyze the hydrogenation of feedstocks, making them more reactive for cracking and heteroatom removal, as well as reducing the coke rate formation. Zeolite based hydrocracking catalysts have following advantage: greater acidity resulting in greater cracking activity, better hydrothermal stability, better naphtha selectivity, better resistance to nitrogen and sulfur compounds, low forming coke forming tendency and easy regenerability. These are some of the advantages of the zeolite based hydrocracking. Single stage hydrocracking, these are the process step: furnace, first stage reactor section, second stage reactor section, high pressure separator, fractionation section, light and recovery section. Single stage hydrocracking process. In single stage hydrocracking, both treating and cracking steps are combined in a single reactor, which I told you. In this process, the feed along with the recycled unconverted residue from the fractionator is first hydro-treated in a reactor, and then the combined steam are fed to the second reactor, where the cracking takes place in the presence of the hydrocracking catalyst. In the single stage process, the catalyst work under high H2S and the ammonia partial pressure. This is the single stage actually the reactor that we are having. Sorry, this is the second two stage reactor that we are having. In case of the here the two stage reactors are there. In case of the two stage hydrocracking process, again the furnace, first stage reactor, second stage reactor section, third stage reaction section, fractionation section, light and recovery section, that is there. Two stage hydrocracking process. Preheated feed is first hydro-treated in a reactor for desulfurization and denitrogenation in presence of pre-treat catalyst, followed by hydrocracking in second reactor in presence of the strongly acid catalyst with a relatively low hydrogenation activity. So, this is what happening in case of the two stage hydrocracking process. As I told you, in case of the two stage process, in the first stage reactor, the sulfur and nitrogen compounds are converted to hydrogen sulfide ammonia with limited hydrocracking. In the two stage process implies inter-stage product separation that removes H2S and ammonia. In case of the two stage process, hydrocracking catalyst works under low hydrogen sulfide and ammonia. This is the two stage hydrocracking process, where we are having the reactor 1, reactor 2, reactor 3, and this is the stripper section, this is the distillation section, where we are separating the various product LPG, gasoline, kerosene and diesel. So, this is the two stage, and if you see the earlier diagram which I show you, that is the single stage, we do not have the third reactor. Here only two reactors are there. Here also we are separating the LPG, gasoline, kerosene, diesel and the residue from the hydrocracker that may go to the rigid FCC. These are the various hydrocracking technology provider: distillate cracking, fixed bed, Chevron, UOP, IFP, BPUK, Shell, Standard and Linde. So, the Chevron, they are iso cracking they call. In case of the UOP, it is unique cracking. In case of the IFP, they call it the hydrocracking. So, these are the some of the commercial hydrocracking processes that is available. So, the chemistry of the hydrocracking. Hydrocracking process is a catalytic cracking process which takes place in the presence of an elevated partial pressure of hydrogen and is facilitated by biofunctional catalysts having acidic side and metallic side, which I discussed earlier also. These are the some of the hydrocracking reaction that is taking place during the hydrotreating reaction and the hydrocracking reaction. As I told you, both the things are because we are using the hydrogen along with the your heavy residue. So, the hydrotreating operation is also taking place there in the hydrocracking process. So, various hydrocracking reactions which are taking place in case of the hydrocracking is the hydrodesulfurization, denitrogenation, hydrodeoxygenation, hydrometallization, olefin hydrogenation, partial aromatic saturation. So, these are the series of reaction that is taking place in case of the hydrocracker. So, again in more various hydrocracking reactions are splitting of carbon-carbon bond and are carbon-carbon arrangement reaction, and that is the hydroisomerization, hydrogenation and dehydrogenation reaction that is taking place. These are the some of the operating variables in case of the hydrocracker: hydrogen partial pressure, reaction temperature, hourly feed velocity, liquid hourly feed velocity, that is the LHSP of the feed, hydrogen recycle ratio, temperature, feed stock and the feed impurities. Let us go in more detail about some of the important parameters, operating variables. Temperature increase in the temperature accelerates cracking reaction on acid side and displaces the equilibrium of the hydrogenation reaction towards dehydrogenation. Too high temperature limits the hydrocracking of the aromatic structure. The pressure influences significantly the equilibrium dehydrogenation and hydrogenation reaction that takes place on the metallic side. The increase in the pressure for a given molar ratio of hydrogen feed correspond to increase in the partial pressure of the hydrogen will produce an increase in the conversion of the aromatic structures to saturated products, which will improve the quality of the jet fuel, diesel fuel and oil with very high viscosity in them. Effect of the feedstock. A higher content of the aromatic hydrocarbons require higher pressure and higher hydrogen feed ratio. The lowest possible temperature and higher hydrogen consumption of the hydrogen and the severity of the process. Effects of the feed impurities. Hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen compounds and aromatic molecules present in the feeds affect the hydrocracking reaction, increasing the nitrogen results in the lower conversion. Ammonia inhibits the hydrocracking catalyst activity requiring higher operating temperature. Polymeric compounds have substantial inhibiting and poisoning effect. Polynuclear aromatics present in small amount in the residue deactivate the catalyst. This is the effect of various variable: feed rate, increase, decrease, change effect on the catalyst type, conversion, increase, decrease, hydrogen partial pressure, reactor pressure, recycle gas rate, recycle fuel. So, some are increase or decrease, some of the increase that will be there. Let us discuss in brief about the INMAX technology, which is the indigenous technology available from the Indian Oil Corporation, and already, as I told you, successfully it has been commissioned in the IOC Guwahati refinery. The operational feature of the INDMAX technology is the very high catalyst to oil ratio, higher riser temperature, higher riser steam rate, relatively lower regeneration temperature. Benefits: LPG 35 to 65%, propylene yield is also high, high octane gasoline we are getting from the process. Multifunctional property catalyst, higher propylene selectivity, superior metal tolerance and lower gate formation. As I told you that the catalyst regeneration, that is important. So, in case of the hydrocracker also, the catalyst regeneration done by burning of the carbon and the sulfur, circulate the nitrogen with the recycle compressor, injecting a small quantity of air, catalyst temperature above the coke ignition temperature. So, these are the some of the references. So, this was about the FCC and the hydrocracker. I have gone very quickly about the FCC and hydrocracker, and the, as I told you, the future refinery, what we are expecting, that is be more and more propylene mold because of the more and more value-added products we are getting. So, the continuous development that has been taking place in the refinery to improve the quality of the product, to increase the propylene yield, or to have the longer life of the catalyst. So, these are the some of the development and taking place, and that was how the FCC to hydrocracking, why we have gone to the cracking, or it may be the rigid FCC, where the more heavier products we are by heavier products means the heavier residue we are cracking there. So, this is the about the catalytic cracking part. In the next lecture, we will be discussing about the catalytic reforming process, which is also one of the very important conversion process in the refinery from the petroleum refinery point of view, and at the same time from the catalytic reforming from the petrochemical point of view, because both the refineries where they are improving the octane number of the low octane naphtha, they are having the catalytic. Now, it is the integral part of the. So, similarly, in case of the, because the the reformant which you are getting, this is rich in the your aromatic. So, we are also using this catalytic reforming for the production of aromatic.